President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky shared details of his meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin in December 2019 in Paris, France. The private meeting took place on the sidelines of the Normandy 4 conference in Paris on December 9, 2019. The conference was attended by Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, Russian President Vladimir Putin, French President Emmanuel Macron, and then German Prime Minister Angela Merkel. We had a long conversation with many nuances. I told him, Russian President Putin, that the Minsk agreement would not work, because the withdrawal of troops along the front line would not work. I did analysis that it would take 20 years to withdraw all forces. That means 20 years of frozen conflict, which means the conflict is not over yet. That's what we talked about. We talked about it for a long time. The second issue that the leaders of Russia and Ukraine discussed was gas. The third issue is prisoner exchange. The two sides have agreed to exchange more than 100 people. He kept repeating the idea of a ceasefire, but we saw what happened to that idea. It lasted for a few months, then we started to suffer again. President Zelensky said that he did not remember the details of the meeting, because he felt as if it took place in another world, where everything was different. Pravda sources said Mr. Zelensky and Mr. Putin discussed elections in Donbass and how Ukraine could regain control of the border, but no agreement was reached other than the one regarding handovers. Exchange prisoners. Ukraine talked about the possibility of inviting Russia to the peace conference. Mr. Andriy Yermak, President Zelensky's chief of staff, said on February 25 that Ukraine and foreign partners may invite Russia to attend a future peace summit to discuss ending the prolonged conflict. 2 years long under Kiev's conditions. According to Mr. Yermak, Switzerland will organize a conference to discuss the peace prospects of Ukrainian President Zelensky. And the plan could be passed on to Russia in a second meeting a day later. President Zelensky first announced the peace plan at the G20 summit in November 2022. The plan calls for restoring Ukraine's territorial integrity and withdrawing all Russian troops. Kiev has affirmed that it will not dialogue with Moscow until all Russian troops leave Ukrainian territory. The Kremlin also believes that there is currently no basis for peace negotiations between Russia and Ukraine.